Rev up your engines!
Well, the big German auto companies are having all kinds of problems, and now Trump wants to turn them into American companies. He wants to put tariffs on the ones made overseas, so he wants them to become American companies. As he says, and I quote, "I want German car companies to become American car companies. I want them to build their plants here." Take BMW. 60% of the BMWs sold in the United States are made here. Take Volkswagen. Over 90% of Volkswagen vehicles sold in the United States are assembled in North America. Down the road in Chattanooga, they got plants there. Now, there's already some of this stuff here. The thing is, a lot of stuff is mainly show. Expensive German luxury cars, they don't sell that many of them in the United States. People don't buy that many Mercedes-Benzes. And Mercedes-Benzes, there's some of them are made in the United States, too. For example, Mercedes-Benz, they only sold 72,000 passenger cars in the United States, over 2 million of them worldwide. It's not that big of a market. The luxury European market is more a snob thing these days. And hey, let me tell you something. They're not going to be making more factories for European car manufacturers here in the United States because they're starting to shut ones down in Europe. For example, Audi's shutting down a factory they have in Belgium because they're not selling their stupid electric cars, and they make them in Belgium. So, if anything, they're retrenching. They're not going to build new factories. They're shutting down ones that they have. Carbuzz.com. And they picked their first car of the year ever, and their first car of the year is a 2025 Toyota Camry. And why did they pick it? Because not only did they like the car, but they liked the idea to make hybrid cars mainstream. Camry had been their largest selling vehicle for ages. Now, of course, it's SUV, RAV4, because everybody wants SUVs. But people are still buying Camrys. It's not like they're not buying Camrys. For example, Toyota sold 290,000 Camrys last year in the United States, and they've sold millions and millions and millions of them. It was their best-selling car for many years in a row. It's the best-selling car in the United States for many years in a row. So, turning it into a hybrid only, you can only buy them hybrids. The CarBuzz guys, and I agree, see it as a smart move for Toyota. I have tested them out. People around here bought them, brought them to me. I made videos on them. And I got to say, I was rather impressed. 51 miles a gallon in a nice car that's zippy and looks good. One that was brought to me, the guy only paid $31,000 for it. The average car in the United States is like about 46 grand now. And you get a car like that for 31, that's a pretty good deal. So, I mean, hey, hybrids are the thing. I mean, look at Nissan. They're in trouble. They didn't even make a hybrid yet. They were kind of sitting on the sidelines. Oh, we don't know. Too late now. Everybody else has beat you to the punch. But defending Nissan, it probably was a smart move for them because they make such crappy cars, and the hybrids are much more complex. They probably would have all fallen apart if they did build them. Well, here's a hilarious one, okay? A woman won a Nissan Sentra on The Price is Right, and she ended up getting a Toyota Camry instead. She had to pay extra, but it turns out that there's legally stuff, and it says you don't have to take that car. You can take that money that the car is worth and apply it to another car. So she did a little research. Maybe she watched some of my videos. I don't know. And she said, I'm going to get a 2025 Toyota Camry hybrid. They're much better cars than those Nissans. She learned something. She said on TikTok, quote, everybody's like, look at Toyota. There wasn't a single comment saying bad things about Toyota. Everybody was so pro-Toyota. She won a Nissan Sentra. Well, no, I'll take the cash and I'll buy a Toyota Camry instead. Hey, smart move there, you know? Some people are learning now. I find it fascinating that you don't have to take that prize. There's got to be all kinds of laws, I guess, that stipulate in these game shows that here's what the legal thing is. You have to give them the money if they don't want the car, or they can apply that value to another car. Not a very good advertisement for Nissan Sentra. I mean, the reason they have it on The Price is Right, because it's an advertisement for Nissan Sentra. But the internet exists now, people, and they find out she didn't want that pile of junk. She got a Toyota Camry instead. She paid an extra 15 grand, but considering the Camrys are 30-something grand, hey, you can get one for 15. That's half price. That's a deal. The price is right there. Well, GM's trying to act like, oh, they're doing great. They're making great cars. Well, guess what? They just announced that they're going to lay off more than 1,600 workers by the end of 2024 because of production shutdowns. Because people aren't buying the vehicles. And they're still got it in their mindset that everybody's going to buy their electric cars. And they're going to make new factories. They're going to retool old factories, make electric cars. They can make all the electric cars in the world. If nobody buys them, they're going to go even further down. Maybe they'll go bankrupt again like they did before. Will the government end up bailing them out like they did Chrysler and GM years ago? I mean, it's kind of disgusting. These people make bad decisions. They make vehicles that don't hold up. Too bad. That's what I say, just too bad. It's a competitive world. If you can't compete, why should the government be giving any money to these people to keep them afloat when they just don't make very good vehicles? They say that, well, they got to shut things down because they're going to retool to make Chevy Bolt EVs and Cadillac XT4s on the same assembly line. So, I mean, really, that doesn't make any sense. If you got an XT4, it's a gasoline-powered car, and you make it on the same assembly line as an electric car, it doesn't make any sense. Now, they've been saying, oh, well, we're not going to make these cars, we're going to make these cars. But then they turn around and say, oh, no, we're still going to. Who knows? They don't know what they're doing. The market is pretty much telling them, people really don't want these electric cars, and they can shut down production and then ramp up production of electric cars that nobody wants to buy. I mean, go right ahead, but it doesn't look like a very good business decision to me. And the workers, of course, there's 1,600 of them that won't have a job in 2024 because of these bad decisions these people have been making. Well, Tesla's at it again with lack of quality. Now, Tesla's having major problems with the self-driving computer inside the new cars. They are shorting themselves out. These are new cars. Brand new Tesla vehicles are experiencing self-driving computer failures, and it does more than just knock out the self-driving. It does other things to the vehicle. The problem's linked to a new version of Tesla's HW4 onboard self-driving computer. They're short-circuiting inside. Tesla drivers are saying over the few tens to hundreds of miles, wide features like active safety features, cameras, and GPS navigation fail to work. Now, they're saying, well, the real fix is to change the computers out because they're showing up, but they're going to try to patch it with a software patch. You know how that goes. You know? Oh, well, we'll try to fix it with the software. You can't. If it's short-circuiting, baby, it's short-circuiting. You need to replace. Listen to what one guy says who owns one. This is all actually true, he says. Delivered 9 of 24. The driving computer is broken after 1 month or 1,500 kilometers of use. Still, it's not repaired because they don't have a spare part for it. So I tell you, don't buy these cars. They're not built right, then they don't have spare parts. They're just out to sell as many cars as possible. They're not building a bunch of spare parts, so when they break, you gotta wait. Oh, it's on back order, people, it's on back order. Save yourself a lot of grief and just don't buy one in the first place, is my solution. Well, here we go again with GM taking our taxpayer dollars, before the feds bankrolled them, and we lost a bunch of our taxpayer money. GM made some kind of sleazy thing where they said, oh, we paid it all back. They actually didn't pay it all back. They had technicalities here. We gave them a lot more money than we got back as the taxpayers. They sold stock. They lost money. The government lost money, right? Well, now GM is trying to get taxpayers to help pay for the renovations of their towers in Detroit. They call it RenCen. It's a Renaissance Center that they built a while back, right? And now people are saying GM is extorting the taxpayers to give $350 million to help build it over. They want public subsidies. $350 million. What the heck is going on in this world? They got buildings. Hey, they want to make money? Build the buildings. Why should taxpayers pay for the buildings? It's ridiculous. They're saying things like, well, we'll tear it down now, if you know what I mean. It is ridiculous that these corporations are asking for federal money, $350 million, taxpayers' money, or in this case, I guess some of it is Michigan taxpayer money, that they want Michigan taxpayers to help pay for this. What the heck is going on that these corporations are getting taxpayer dollars for their own stupid buildings? It's just ridiculous. What's going on in these backroom deals between the politicians and these corporate boys? It's just gotten to a point of absurdity. And people in Michigan, of course, they're furious about it. But hey, it goes on. More and more corruption and getting taxpayer dollars to pay for private companies. Buildings are doing over. It's just ridiculous. Well, you think Porsche cars are expensive to maintain and cost a fortune. Guess what? The Porsche design tower in Miami is sinking. They were one of the first companies to get into building towers, too. And I guess in this crazy tower, the elevator is a Porsche on wires you ride up and down and that. I mean, But it turns out that it's sinking. They got to no better building buildings than they are at building cars. And they only opened in 2014. But it's sinking inches each year. Now, this is in Miami. Building in sand, maybe not such a smart idea. One of the reasons that they have high skyscrapers in New York City is because they got super bedrock there. And the buildings are sitting on bedrock and they don't move. Look at the Empire State Building. It hasn't moved inches every year. No, it's sunk. It's still sitting there because it's on bedrock, people. Maybe build them in the correct place, and maybe have a company that really knows how to build them, not a car company. They're like sheep, these automakers, because down the street from the Porsche design tower, there's an 818-foot Aston Martin skyscraper. I wouldn't buy an Aston Martin either, right? And they're going to soon pop up Bentley and Mercedes-Benz buildings in Miami. I mean, it's just too much. They're like sheep. They all follow each other around. What the heck a car company has to do with building buildings? I guess nobody's buying their cars. They're in deep doo-doo, so let's build buildings instead. But the Porsche one's sinking. Maybe it'll be the leaning tower of Porsche after a period of time if it doesn't fall down into the Miami sand. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.